Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Where are we? Midtown Paphos. That's where we are. That's Atlantic Insurance Building on the left hand side, and coming up further on is one or two of the how do you say that word? Municipality offices, and including in those offices is the office of the man in charge. That's got barrier number 1 for Dennis, the mayor, and he's a very, very good mayor indeed, by the way. He is dragging Paphos into the 23rd century. He decided the 21st century was just not advanced enough, and now we are the smartest city in Europe, and of course we've won an award with it as well. Smart Tourism 2023. So if you're a smart tourist or a smart expat, the best place to live is downtown Paphos. Get yourself on a big bird or a canoe, start paddling like crazy. Paphos is quite simply waiting for you. He is one of the municipality police officers now, and he's having a look at this car that's parked, shall we say, slightly illegally. But as you can see, he's pointing to the guy over there and saying, just move your car. Whereas we understand in most countries, the car would just be, well, taken away, shall we say. And if you fancy a Lamborghini, well, there's one parked up on the left-hand side. They're always in yellow, aren't they? There's 2 or 3 of them knocking around Paphos, and they are always in yellow. That's the traditional colour for a Lamborghini. Of course, if you've got a Ferrari, you buy them in red. If you've got a Jag, you drive them in black, or a Mercedes. Simple as that. So the barrier number 1, his office is down there to the left, and of course he's out and about gallivanting, making sure that all the people are abiding to the legalities in downtown Paphos. Right in front of us now is Kennedy Square, so that's the start of the old town. If you're on foot, you can't get there on a car because, well, there's buildings in the way, isn't it? Andrea, what's going on? The traffic lights are on red, but they're not, because there's a little arrow over there that says I can filter to the left. And this is a part of Paphos that's had a bit of rejuvenation, shall we say. If you've not been here for a couple of years, you're going to see some huge changes in downtown Paphos. And of course the promenade and the harbour area, well, that has been completely transformed. Now, big shout out to some of the people that like to join Mr. Paul on his breakfast travels. If your name's Dayman, you're the girl in charge of the show, and she keeps coming back again and again, and we do thank her from the bottom of our 2 hearts. I'm going straight through. Sorry, Lady Andrea, I'd already crossed the line, and luckily there's no speed cameras at that part. As you can see, the traffic is building up, well, quite nicely, should we say, if you're in that lane. But luckily for me, I'm going the correct way, and the traffic is quite light. And we're heading down towards the Kings Avenue Mall roundabout, and we're going to take a right and head out onto the Tomb of the Kings Avenue. And of course, if you come into Paphos as a tourist, there's a lot of people that stay in apartment complexes and hotels on that particular road. And of course, there are some people that own properties on that part of the stretch of Paphos, shall we say. Of course, if your name's Baron John, there's a girl in your life called Baroness Louise, who was celebrating her birthday yesterday, and we hope you had a great evening. And we know you're going to the Lake District, and hopefully you're going to treat that girl to something special. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Lights are on green, let's get going. If you want a cigar or two, that's the Habana Specialist there on the left hand side. And of course, I'm going to take a great friend of mine there when he comes out in May. So Martin, Lady Victoria is going to liquidate some funds for him, and we're going to chuchka dance into there, have a chat with Andrea, because he fancies a box of number 2 Romeo and Juliets and a box of Majors as well. Oh my God, he's a man with a couple of bob. And we're going to sit in the Pelican restaurant and smoke the living daylights out of them, especially for you. Especially if your name's Lord Derek Scully, or perhaps Sir Bernie from downtown in Southend. And of course, we can do a little bit of la-di-da-ing. And you never know, we might even bring a chuckle to the face of Lady Jan. Well, we hope you're keeping well, and hopefully you're going to come back and see us. And you're right, you could leave your holiday that little bit later, because the weather of late, over the last couple of years, certainly, the summer has been hanging on, shall we say. We are deep in October, and look at the weather. That sky, yep, it's looking blue. The sea, I promise you, is looking very blue indeed. Mr. Paul, guess what? He's dressed head to toe in blue. So all that is missing is you. So why not get yourself on a big bird or a canoe and start paddling like crazy. Paphos Cyprus, the island of love. Including Marika and me, we're waiting especially for you. This is the Paphos Mall roundabout, and now technically we've just entered the area known as Tomb of the Kings. What's coming up? Roman Hotel, that's on the left hand side. I think that's still closed at the moment. Something called bankruptcy affected it, but don't worry, someone will buy it, and I'm pretty sure it'll reopen and get a bit of a refurb maybe. But there's something special about that hotel when you walk into the main reception. Sean O'Keefe knows all about it, so does his mum and dad, and quite a few other people have stayed there as well. Now, what's coming up? Well, if you're all the way from downtown Hampshire and there's a Yorkshire boy in your life, and of course your name is Mr. Nice, yes, and there's a man called Mr. Trev in your life. Well, that was the Princess Victoria Hotel and Resort, and of course you enjoyed staying there and you've booked it again for next year, so it must be pretty good. And there's a few people who like to stay there. There's a family all the way up in Scotland. Miss Karen, I'm talking about you. She's got a man in her life called Mr. Allen, and of course there's a superstar who likes a bit of bubblegum ice cream, and that must mean, and I'm talking about Mr. Aaron. And hopefully you're going to come back to Paphos very, very soon indeed. Now, talking about Scotland, there's quite a few people who seem to like to watch the little channel known as Marika and Me up in downtown Scotland. Of course, if your name is Lady Kirstine in downtown Glasgow, welcome to the show. If your name is Sir John Ricey, welcome to the show. And of course, if you're up in the higher echelons of Scotland, not far from St Andrews, and if your dad's a king and your mother's a queen, yep, I'm talking about my cousin King James, and of course his queen, Queen Karine. But if you're a king and she's a queen and you've got a daughter, well, that must mean that she's a princess. Kalimera to you, Princess Darley, and we hope you're having a fantastic day indeed. Thanks for joining us in the Cape of Paphos Harbour. It's a couple of weeks ago now, time goes, doesn't it? And a big, big thank you to my cousin King James for the designs that he's done for the t-shirts for Princess Addis at the Pelican restaurant. I'm going to show them to her tonight, and I think she's going to love them. So hopefully we're going to get some special t-shirts made for the superstar in the Pelican restaurant, Princess Addis. A lot of people know her, and they know when they go to that restaurant the service that that girl gives is beyond incredible. She runs around like a blue arse fly, always with a smile on her face, and she always makes sure that everybody is happy. So big Kalimera to Princess Addis at the Pelican restaurant, and all the other staff there. They're all great staff, don't worry. Every one of them will treat you with respect and look after you, that's for sure, including the boss himself, the man talking on the massive Romeo and Juliet, the S-Class driving superstar known as, what's his name? Do you know what his name is? Andros. Mr. Andros, absolute superstar, and he really, really is indeed. Now, Tomb of the Kings Avenue is almost finished, but just over here there's a hotel called the Alvira Hotel. Now, quite a few people have stayed there. Forgive the potholes, please. Quite a few people have stayed there, but more recently, a superstar couple from downtown in Monera, North Wales, just outside Wrexham, stayed there, and we had the great pleasure to meet them. They accosted us on the downtown Cape of Paphos promenade. They joined us in the Pelican restaurant, and we had a chinwag or two. So a very, very Kalimera good morning to the superstars known as Lady Helen and of course Sir Phil. And we hope you're having a great day indeed. And they're living just outside a village called Coedpoeth, where my grandfather used to have a petrol station and a mechanics business and a car sales business. And he sent me some pictures the other night, and oh my God, has it changed. It's now a massive co-op, well, middle-sized supermarket, and of course it still sells petrol to hook it in, shall we say. downtown Paphos on a truly spectacality of a day indeed. If you like what you see, hit the like, click that subscribe, and perhaps come back for a little bit more of my complete and utter madness. And if you want to keep the channel afloat, if you love us that little bit, why not hunt us down on the Buy Me a Coffee platform? Totally safe, totally secure. Buy Me a Coffee, Marika and me, those are the words to Google, and you'll find all of the comments and replies from previous people who've been courteous enough to buy us that special coffee. And of course we do thank you from the bottom of our two hearts. You can also choose to become a superstar member at only €10 a month, and we thank all of the people that are doing it, and hopefully it will continue and continue. And one day, you never know, you might get a massive party on Marika and me. Thanks for watching, and of course we'll see you again very soon somewhere in downtown Paphos. There's the boys in blue doing their jobs. There's a car that was unmarked, you may have noticed, in like a darky grey, and that had a little camera on top of it. And of course what it's doing, well, number plate recognition system, isn't it? So it instantly knows whether you've got tax, insurance, MOT, or whether your car's been stolen, all those kind of things. And of course you get pulled over by the boys, and those are what we call the Gestapo police. There's no mucking around with them, I can promise you that. Thanks for watching, and of course we'll see you again somewhere in downtown Paphos very soon indeed.